What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Stories. If you've been riding with me through these last few episodes, you already knew this one was coming. Episode 6. Losing God, Finding Myself. Now, before you panic or anybody panics that's listening, this isn't a rant. This isn't an attack. This isn't me trying to deconstruct your faith. This is just my story. And if you ever sat in the back row, you know stories hit different than sermons. There wasn't a lightning bolt. There wasn't some dramatic rebellion where I kicked open church doors and screamed, "I'm free." It was quieter than that. It was slower, and it was so much scarier. And it was more peaceful than I've ever explained, except for dying, of course. That's a whole different ballgame. People think you wake up one day and just stop believing. But that's not how it happened for me. It was more like, like the little cracks on the windshield. At first you ignore them. Then one day you can't see clearly. I started asking questions. Not rebellious ones, like crazy ones. Not like the edgy atheists on TikTok questions. Just normal ones, I guess. Why does love require fear? Why does doubt feel like betrayal? Why did I feel calmer outside of church than inside it? Why did the music that I listened to make me feel the same way outside of church that church made me feel inside of church? And the biggest one to me is if this is supposed to be peace, why am I so anxious all the time? I feel like if I farted that I was going to go to hell. You didn't wear hats in the sanctuary, or you're going to hell. You didn't chew bubble gum in the sanctuary, or you're going to hell. Like, you get my drift? Like, all that sat with me for a long time. I was in church from the time that I was in diapers until about 14, 15, I want to say. And because I built my whole entire identity around being this church kid, even when I was messing up, I still believed. Even when I was angry, I still believed. But believing started to feel like something. It felt like holding on to something that wasn't holding me back. And that's terrifying. Because when your whole framework is built on faith, what happens when your foundation shifts? Here's another part that nobody talks about. Leaving the faith doesn't feel brave at first. It feels dangerous. You don't think, "Oh, I don't believe." You think, and you tell yourself, "Man, what if I'm wrong? What if hell is real? What if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life?" So 2 months ago, I died. I have heart failure. Shout out to the American Heart Association. I got sick, my heart stopped, and then started running to 188 beats per minute, which is crazy. I have a pacemaker defibrillator. It didn't catch it, so I was laying here for days just feeling like absolute garbage. And then when I got to the hospital, they stopped my heart, and they couldn't get me back. for a long time. That they tried for a while and life flighted me to the hospital in Chattanooga. And when I came to, I didn't see anything. I wanted to tell my family that I saw Jesus. I saw the pearly gates. I saw the streets of gold. I saw Peter. Like, but I didn't see anything. It was a peaceful void. Now, when I say peaceful, I don't mean like this peace when you close your eyes and you're like, oh yeah, I can do stuff tomorrow. And no, I mean, there is no tomorrow. There's no thoughts. It's just peace. I feel like that's paradise. Everybody makes their own paradise inside their brain, and I feel like that was my paradise because I've spent so long questioning this faith, not just this faith, but other faiths too. But I had to get my pacemaker battery replaced. And before I went under, I was like, you have those thoughts because I am severe anxiety, severe depression, and severe ADHD. The back of my brain was like, hey man, what if it's all real and it's not fake and you don't wake up and you wake up in hell? That's the worst part. But I had to tell myself, I've studied, I've done my research, and I know what I feel. And I remember sitting alone one night, no worship music, no sermon, no emotional altar call, just silence. And I asked myself, if nobody was watching, if there was no heaven, no hell, no scoreboard, no tallies, what do I actually believe? Because the answer scared the absolute mess out of me. Because it wasn't anger, it wasn't rebellion, it wasn't uncertainty. And uncertainty, feels illegal when you're raised Pentecostal. I felt like I was committing a crime just thinking differently. And that is how deep my trauma is. So my moment of clarity was, there wasn't a dramatic, I'm done. There was a quiet realization, I don't believe this anymore. And I waited for the panic to set in. I waited for the guilt to wash over me. I waited for the fear. Instead, I felt calm. Like taking off a tight shoe after wearing them your whole life. Like unclenching your jaw. You didn't know that you were clenching. I could breathe. And that scared me as well. Because I thought, if I feel this peace outside of this, what does that mean? That means I wasn't broke. I wasn't wicked. I wasn't secretly evil. It meant I was honest. Here's my identity without fear. Here's what shocked me the most. I didn't turn into a villain. I didn't wake up craving chaos. I didn't lose my morals. I still care about people. I still believe in kindness. I still think honesty matters. And I still want to protect the weak. And I want to build something meaningful. None of that disappeared. The only thing that disappeared was fear. And when fear left, something else showed up. My sense of responsibility, my sense of belonging, like I'm meant to be here, not because of that. I wasn't being decent to avoid punishment. I was being good because I chose to be. That's different. That's heavier and somehow more real. You know what the back row teaches you? Observation. When you sit in the back long enough, you see everything. You see who's performing. You see who's struggling. You see the cracks behind the polished smiles. I remember a spoken word back in the day when I was in church. It said that the church has become a museum of mask, and and it's supposed to be a hospital for the broken. I remember these people come to church with $300 suits and not even throw anything in the offering plate, not even help out their brother who they know is about to lose his house. And then eventually you start seeing your own reflection in all of it. The back row kid in me realized something. I wasn't losing God. I wasn't losing the version of myself that was built on fear. And when that version fell away, there I was, still standing, still breathing, still trying, still flawed, but honest. That's where the burnout saint comes from. Not hatred, not rebellion, not revenge, just survival. A saint who got tired of pretending. A believer who got tired of fear. A kid who survived youth group altar calls, hell sermons, and anxiety, and came out human. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. If faith gives you peace, then by all means hold on to that. We all need peace right now. If it gives you purpose, beautiful. This isn't about tearing anything down. It's about telling the truth about my experience so that I can inspire somebody before I expire. There it is again. I'm going to trademark that. And maybe giving someone else permission to think without panic, to question without shame, and to breathe without fear. Man, if you're listening to this and you're in that in-between space, not fully in, not fully out, scared to question, and you're scared to say, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not evil. You're just thinking. And thinking is not a sin. This is Back Row Stories. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk out of the row you were assigned and sit wherever you want. I'll see you next episode.